Yo, what's happening?
What's happening?
Yo.
Some good news, man. Let's get this party rocking. Albie, what's good?
Man, what's good? We got some real nice. We're in the midst of planning out 2024's live events. We're going strong in the land on the live events, like we did in 2019. We're going back to what worked great, which is getting elbow to elbow people, shoulder to shoulder. We had a great live event last Thursday, and I haven't spoken, whether it be on a panel or anything like that locally for a while, and it just brought back the whole thing. Is like I need to get back in front of like masses of people. It's called Investor Source, which I've always thought was a great real like topic or hook to get people to come. And they fill the room with 100 people easily every month. And they did a panel on like the 2024 outlook. There was like 3 of us, and I had like 4 people come up right after. It was like, hey, I'm interested in talking to you about EXP. It was like, it's literally too easy, and we've gotten away from it. I mean, that's how we built Double Your Business Lives. I mean, not saying I want to be in a plane traveling, multiple times a month or whatever, like we were, but that was one of the real leverage points that got us where we're at. As we went around and we got face to face with people and did the live events. So it was a good week last week, and just getting back in front of people and getting that speaking bug out of you or whatever. And I'm excited to do more of it this year. That's for sure.
Love it, man. Yeah, one to many. And being able to get in there on that, back knee to knee, and it was crazy, man. How full steam ahead, and kind of even think what we were doing, and then when we got the brakes put on us in March of 20, and then when everybody could, man, it just felt like everybody went full tilt on events when they could get back around the human interaction, and then people got burnt, man. They were just event fatigue was a real thing. And I mean, are y'all feeling kind of we're at that point to where now people are kind of going back into the new year, looking to, I mean, what are people craving?
I mean, I don't know, Jay's your opinion on it, but I mean, even Gove is taking build and busting it up into local builds. I believe that's the new agenda for 2024. Instead of like one big build, they're going to be kind of scaling it on a local area to make it easier for people to get to it. I know Dave Kennard, I think I saw something, he was doing one in his area. Did you hear something different about that, Jay?
No, nothing different. No, that's what I've heard.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's, they're making it easier for people to get to, I suppose, is what we're looking at. But yeah, we know, like, just at least from the Cleveland area, and trying to leverage Icon Co-work, and even kind of expanding beyond that and getting into it, more of a neutral space. Icon's kind of been coined, like a lot of people know that I'm involved in that project, so they kind of like connect the XP to it. So we're trying to like maybe do some that are disconnected from that location into some neutral areas. But yeah, dude, that's where we're hitting 2024. It's going to be the land will be packed with events. We're planning Rock and Rescue out for beginning of September. So trying to just nail down the talent on that. And yeah, that's what we got going on our end, man.
So you see that, cuz, is that it's just maybe just smaller, more intimate, easy to get to, nothing major production, just focus on adding value type of events? Or is that kind of
yeah, I think and I don't know that it has to be in lieu of big events, but I think because I think the big events do a great job, but I think that that is something that was missing, that we really hit hard in really 2017, 18, 19 and 20, really before the pandemic, was a lot of local events. So it definitely is a proven strategy. And I think we're just, and I think the way Brent's looking at it is the more events we can add, the better everything gets. And so I think what Al's doing and anybody who's thinking of doing events is doing the right thing as far as historically what has worked.
Yeah, that's the thing too, and I think value add, but real collaboration, because we know most of those events, the best conversations happen in the hallways, and even listening to Alex's feedback, both of you guys have been to KT, and it's just kind of a mesh of the best. And one of the things that was missing in Alex's recommendation and what we're going to do in Pittsburgh in March is tweak it to where half of day 2 is going to back to the hot seat format, right? Really some true masterminding and sharing kind of what's working, but then also sharing the biggest constraint, the biggest challenge, the biggest thing. And I think as people are navigating and why people are so receptive now to a lot of because they've really got real constraints, right? They got real challenges, and they need that collaboration, they need that connection to be able to help solve it. And so I think those type of events, and just as I'm talking out loud, I'm really, it was really inspiring to see what the boys in Atlanta did, for themselves early on. And they really embraced that local event strategy. And 1 week, just straight up mastermind, right? Where they came in, shared what's working, what's not working. Let's throw it out on the table by definition of what mastermind means, not what a lot of jokers throw out, what it is, but really truly what a mastermind is. And then just training, straight up EXP explained, right? But they stayed committed and stayed consistent. And I think they executed better than anybody that I've seen from a consistency, but it was a collaboration, man. It was a group effort. And, they really all hands on deck, divide and conquer. And they did a great job of it. Levi and James and Andre, collaborating in, but with Mr. Hillsman, with Dan really driving it. And it was really cool to see, what they were able to do. And obviously their momentum got derailed just like everybody else's in March of 20.
Yeah.
Strategy.
Well, they continued though, with the Zooms and doing the masterminds and just stayed consistent. And really that's what it boils down to. So it's not, I haven't seen really anybody have massive success from like executing on one event locally. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be, in my opinion, one a month. It seems like a lot, it seems like it's heavy, but on a local level, that's the type of connection that you need to start forming a community. Like, people aren't going to be able to make it to every one of your events, but if they know there's going to be the one the following month and you blew them away on the first one, they're going to make sure that they're going to want to, get to that. As long as you're executing at a high level, sometimes it's a really great speaker. You set the tone with a real strong speaker, and then the following 2 months you might not need, to bring in as, big of a name or something like that. But sometimes, just setting the foundation with a really good, strong speaker that has some good presence, like, someone like Jay, Michael, you, or a Sheplack or a Coach Bird or whatever. Obviously those, there's going to be an investment in getting those types of people in there, but then you can have some local talent fill in the blanks. I think that's the easiest way to do it.
You did it, man. Y'all crushed it in the land. You guys you talk about consistency and great speakers, great value add. Y'all did it right. Between the three of us, man, we've done a lot of events. We've done a lot of great events. We know right, wrong, and different do's and don'ts. So I would just, anybody out there listening, if you want to incorporate events as one of your strategies moving forward, I'm just going to tell you, if you haven't done it, don't do one until you talk to one of us, period. Like, we can save you tens of thousands of dollars and lots of headaches and heartache and just a lot of frustrations can be saved. So if you want to incorporate that, get on one of our calendars. As far as boot camp, no idea. I'll let the cat out of the bag. We're going to do Agent to CEO piggybacked with the Owls Rock and Rescue in September. So be on the lookout for that.
Awesome. Yeah. Can't wait for that. Just really trying to nail down our super top secret talent that we're going to be bringing into the land. If we can get that commitment. So the minute we get that commitment is the minute we're going to start marketing this heavy, and you're not going to want to miss it. If we can nail this artist, it's going to be off the chain. So I'm excited about that.
Appreciate y'all. It looks like we lost Cuz. He's got some of that great island internet. So hopefully he'll jump right back in with us. And then, Al, what, for those of you guys listening, if you have any questions, comments, please throw it in. We'd love to dive in and unpack anything for you. Man, I want to open it up here, while we're waiting for folks to chime in or have some questions. I know you've been going through Choose Your Enemies Wisely. I think for me, it's you're looking for the two best business books moving into the new year. Patrick Bet-David, Choose Your Enemies Wisely is one of the two. The other is $100 Million Leads, because I know it's, business is three things, right? It's traffic, it's conversion, it's fulfillment. Y'all pretty good at fulfillment. Y'all pretty good at conversion, but we all can use more help with traffic. And so like if you guys aren't building your marketing strategies around Alex Hormozi's $100 Million Leads, you're cutting yourself short. You need your core four, you need your lead getters, and you need to develop strategies around each of those. And you need to go deep and build a foundation. That's kind of where my mind has been over the last week, Al, heading into January. I feel a lot of folks spend some time game planning, really setting goals, really being intentional, moving into the new year. But now it's execution, but it's building the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your takeaways? Because I know you're consuming both of them and as well as other things, but just kind of when you look at it from a foundation standpoint, that's going to build something sustainable, something that can weather any market conditions. I mean, you did it with your business. We did it with our businesses. You look at those that are still operating at a high level, they built a foundation. But if you take those two books moving into the new year, like, where do those things apply into the foundation of the business and business moving into, this year and beyond?
I mean, when we were operating the team at a high level, spending a lot of money on radio, Mimi's ads, which is, for people that don't know, that's like a local magazine where we can do full page print ads, very, Craig Proctor-esque type of direct response. I guess content-driven advertisements that appear like an article. There's a name for them, John. I can't remember the technical.
Newsletters?
What's that?
You doing newsletters?
No, like articles that are written with specific. It's almost like a giant sales letter, but it's
direct response type written advertisement.
Right.
Sales letters. Yeah.
And so, I didn't understand, there was the book $100 Million Leads, $100 million offers wasn't out then. Obviously there was a lot that Frank Kern and that were putting out, but a lot of it I was just copycatting on principles that I learned from Mike and Jay and you and Cliff. And I kind of I guess you could say I got lucky. I liked copywriting, but the thing that I'm getting at here is that it was consistent. Not every one of my ads were great. Some of them were not as well written as others, but the fact is I did it every single month. Same thing with radio. Same thing when I was, whether it was making calls or whatever it was, same thing when we're talking about events, is that it's that consistency. You're not going to get it. I think what a lot of us do is we keep working on it until we think that it's ready before we're going to execute it. And the truth is that no, just get out there and do your first event. Just do it. Go screw it up. It doesn't matter. You're not going to screw it up, but like, don't worry about like messing it up. Just do it. And then same thing whether it's if you're going to be committing to calling FSBOs and expireds, if you're going to be committing to a postcard campaign, if you're going to be committing to mailing to a particular, I can tell you this, if I were to have to start all over again, there were a few things that I had said I think at the end of the year when we kind of did our year wrap up. One of them was I would be launching an ROI networking group like what Nick DeVito launched. Second thing is I would be doing is I'd be hitting two mailings a month to a specific farm that I wanted to start farming. The one thing I never did is I never farmed a specific area. I farmed zip codes, multiple zip codes.
Yeah.
So I casted a bigger, wider net versus narrowing in. I would still do the net, but I would also have a campaign where I'd be narrowing in on specific neighborhoods with specific high price points to bring my average price point up higher. And these are the things that I would be, investing in doing. I'd say differently. I don't know at this point whether I would be, picking up the phone and cold call me. This is just me personally. If you're low on money and you have no budget, you need to be picking up the phone and calling for sale by owners and expireds. If you have budget, I would be spending it on the things that I just talked about, and then complementing all of that with video on YouTube. And so I know I'm spitting a lot out, but that's what I would. I mean, if you dropped me in and said, "Hey, gun to head, you got to go out, start your team again, start your sales," those are the things that I'd be doing. Of course, I'd have a funnel up and running with Facebook ads and I'd be doing it all. But starting with one thing and then going deep on it, start nailing it, like what you talk about and Jay talks about is oil wells. Get that first 100%. Oil well pumping, then go to the next oil well, get that pumping, then the next oil well and get that pumping. And that's
100%, man. And I, you model off of, the framework. That's where you can take $100 million leads. And I know we had a few people pop in and what we were saying, the question. So what we were talking about is the top two, these are my top two business book recommendations moving into the new year, $100 million leads. Obviously, you probably, if you haven't gone through $100 million offers, I would at least understand the offer concept, because the thing is that if people aren't resonating and you're not getting traction, and you're having conversations with people, a couple things can be off. Your offer and your audience can be off. So, but that you don't know that until you have conversations. But you need people to talk to, and you need people that want your stuff. So $100 million leads is the book. And then the other one is Choose Your Enemies Wisely, which is Patrick Bet-David, which is probably one of the best business books I've read in a long, long time. And I'm halfway in, Al. I'm on talking about the mission and plan. So I'm still mission and plan. I'm, just about halfway through the foundation and the building blocks. But I love that you said jumping in, and, it makes me think, we both got kiddos that are kind of in the process or, moving down the path of getting licensed and getting in the business. But I'm also, thinking through, and if I run through the core four, so you run through warm, right? People that know you, like you, love you already. You got them in your phone, you got them in your email, and you got them following you on social. So you got 3 buckets. You've got people to reach out to. You've got social media, which is one to many. You've got the cold outreach, which is a muscle that travels into any market, in any market climate. And it's not necessarily like you said, straight up cold, but being able to have a conversation, right? Knowing what to say, developing that skill set. And then obviously the ads. You got to have your lead getters. You got to have the people that know you, like you, love you, trust you, sending you people your way. Obviously, as you get kind of business going, you would leverage affiliates, sending people your way. You got your team members that are sending, going to get people if you had team members. But I love that concept. You jump in, you're solo, you got to start all over. I think, hitting hitting the phones is one of the fastest ways. Obviously, getting some ads up and running immediately, some low cost ads. What y'all have going, being able to do to set that up is key. I think the other thing too, kind of now is man, I think executing open house strategy as an event. I know we were talking about events.
Yeah.
But treating the open houses as an event, being intentional, like you talked about the neighborhood that you want to own. I would be doing an open house in that area that's going to be a higher price point, higher than average price point, and following Nicole Ambrose's of open house event strategy. And her open house event strategy is you get the neighbors invited and involved. You invite them, you raffle off a flat screen TV. So you capture their name, their address, their email address, their phone number, and you start to build the data of the entire neighborhood that gave you permission.
Yeah.
Right? Like we can go get the data. The data is easy to get, but we got permission based to be able to connect with the data.
Yeah.
And then she bribes the real estate agents to show up at 1:00. If it's a 1:00 open house, you have the neighbors come in at noon, you kick them out about 12:50. And then you have a rush of agents coming. Hopefully they're bringing buyers because you bribe them with some booze. And you create demand, you create this perception. It goes back to why you would go hardcore on social media is you would give the perception that you're busier than what you are. You're doing the open houses to where you're bringing people through the threshold. You're having conversations. You're raffling off a TV. So you're capturing information in the neighborhood. Then you're bringing agents in because they're coming to get their free booze. To the first 10 that show up, they get a nice bottle of wine. And then you have that. And then now you give away the TV. Now you're following up. You're building relationships with the agents. You've got a great house. Hopefully in this market, you've got some demand. Now you're having conversations back with the seller saying, you know what, Al, man, great seeing you coming through. Sorry you didn't win the TV. However, you might win the opportunity to sell your house for more than what it's worth because we sold the house for X percent above asking price with multiple offers, meaning there's buyers that want this neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I think those type of strategies.
You're telling a story. You're making the open house into an event. You're making the whole your whole strategy is actually the story behind the whole thing, and you're making sure that they're seeing every part of. It's like a Netflix series.
Yeah,
you got
a great way to think about it.
Season 1 is your first listing, whatever. You have the beginning of episode 1, episode 2, all the way to the closing. And if you think of it that way, and you're putting the content out and making sure that those people they're going to want to see it. It's interesting. It's something, I have zero intention right now of selling my home. I'm remodeling it extensively. I'm planning on being there at least next 10 years, but I'm super interested in what a similar home down the street is going to list for. I'm all over it, even though I'm not in the market to shop for. I'm genuinely curious as to what they're listing for, how it looks just compared to mine, just because it's what everyone does, whether you're in real estate or not. So make it interesting, and be consistent with it. And I think that's going to be the key here. 2024 is this consistency, and don't wait to make it perfect. Just execute. And people might hear, well, Al, I mean, why would I want to, build a relationship with you? Because if you're demonstrating that you're able to get top dollar in the neighborhood that Al lives in, he might be a lead getter for you. And so I think, that's why $100 million leads is so important to understand Hormosi's concepts. You've got to have your core 4. You got to set up the oil wells that's producing in those core 4 buckets. But then you've also got your relationship to where you have lead getters that are sending you qualified opportunities. And I'm telling you, man, what I've seen with agents that are thriving, not just surviving, but are thriving, are executing on the core 4 at a high level, consistent on the core 4. They have their lead getters of their top promoters, their raving fans, those legends, sending them opportunities.
They've got their affiliates, maybe not sending them money, but they're sending them leads, sending them opportunities. And so they've got 6 of Hormosi's 8 buckets working well, and they have the ability to just stay consistent and follow up, and their pipelines are full. It's really awesome to see, to be able to do that.
Absolutely. All right. What do we got in the comments here? Myself and another agent have an agent attraction event scheduled and running on social media. Would love to get your advice. Should we schedule a call? I can't see who that
I can't either. No. But yeah, I would say schedule a call, Al. The one thing that I would always say, and I'm just going to preface this, and this is something that you have to think about, is that you walk into any event, the first 2 questions you ask, number 1, what's the primary objective? What's the main goal? What's the number 1 goal of the event? And then what's the secondary goal of the event? Okay. So you look at we can give some examples, Al. I would love for you to share some examples, but I like to, throw out, just because I shared this with Brandon Town and Greg yesterday, as they're teeing up a big event in their market in a couple weeks that I'm heading up to, is that's what I hit them with. What's the primary objective? And then what's the secondary objective? And I'll go back to the Atlanta, the ATL crew. So when we took boot camp to Atlanta, what was that, 2019, I think, time frame, we took boot camp to the ATL. And I remember Levi was heading that event up. And I said, they had a great support team, right? They had Morris, and then they had James, and then they had Levi, they had Dan, Andre was there. So they had all these people that were collaborating on the event. And my first question was, what's the goal? What's the primary objective? And they said, well, our primary objective is that we want you to really train our people how to articulate their value with CHSA, CHBA. That's the number 1 primary objective. I said, great. What's the secondary objective? We want to recruit to EXP. Great. We're clear on the 2 objectives. That's where you have to start. You have to be really clear on the goal. And I know, Al, same way. It's like EGS, right? EGS's primary objective, nobody knew this, but primary objective was EGS was to sell coaching. Number 1. Number 2 was retention, because they knew that an average coaching client stayed X number of months, but if they came to EGS, they stayed that many months more. So the primary objective, sell coaching, secondary objective, retention. You got to always have a goal, and you always got to have a secondary goal. So my first thing would be that. Al, what else?
I would challenge and say, on that, I don't know, we'll call it a premise with what you just said, the primary and secondary goal of VGS. I would say that it's almost opposite and flipped for local events. Like what those guys were saying is, I think they had it nailed. Like, primary is to coach and train our agents, add value to our existing agents. And essentially that's code for retention.
Yes. Production is.
And the secondary goal was recruiting. I believe they have that in correct order, and here's why. If they nail the first primary goal, the secondary goal takes care of itself.
Yeah.
Meaning, if it was like Mastermind, right? Mastermind never had an intent on, it was a small group of people. We were there to solve each other's problems, collaborate, and that's how that value was added. That's how the bonds were formed. We did, obviously we had fun on trips and stuff like that, but when we got together in those 2 rooms, it was collaboration, learning, growing together. That was it. There was no focus in those events on selling more people on Mastermind, unless, of course, maybe they had a guest there. But for the most part, there weren't guests that they would. Once in a while they'd have a guest or 2 here and there, but that was never the primary goal of the room, was to sell them. That happened naturally. As just a result of nailing the first one, meaning, man, we hit a grand slam out of the park hit, grand slam home run on the event. which then makes the other people that are there want to join. And so the secondary goal gets taken care of when you nail the first goal, and when you really, really nail the first goal. Yeah. You know, I believe that's when you go all in on that. That's when you have people at an event walk up to you and say, "Man, we need to have a conversation," or "Man, I've been thinking about a move, but now I really, after being at this event, we really need to have a conversation." It's that's energy that's just flowing, and when you have that energy flowing, that's the opposite of stale. You ever been to an event that's just stale?
Like, yeah, you end up in the hallway.
No one's going to want to get up out of their seat and run to the front to talk to you about joining you when it's stale. But when you've nailed it and there's energy flowing throughout that room, like, it's just, you can't stop it. It's impossible to stop that energy when it starts to flow like that. And I think that's the goal of an event. They did nail that with EGS. I felt Brent nails it with his Brent nails it with his build event. I mean, and I honestly, I haven't been to like Cabo, and I haven't been to Hawaii. I'm sure he nails those as well. But what I can speak to is build, and he's really nailed build, that energy. I mean, you can't deny it. You're in the same room with Brent. You can't not feel his energy. You know,
that's it. I love that you said that, because you have to take into the overall experience, in your number one objective, besides, we know the goal, the outcome that we're after, but you have to change the way they feel. And let's go back to great selling, right? An event, you're selling them that they cannot be where they're at, right? This is the A to B concept. They have to feel, you have to change the way they feel. They have to know emotionally that they feel they can't stay where they're at. And you're painting the picture for them of where they want to go, the destination, and they feel it emotionally. They feel it. And then that you're creating a gap so massive that they know they can't cover the distance between where they're at and where they want to go on their own. That's where they start seeking for a bridge to get them from where they're at to where they want to go. Okay. Y'all got to get this, because this is with your agent attraction. This is with buyers and sellers. This is with events, is you have to move them emotionally, and they feel and they know they can't stay where they're at. You're giving them some clarity in direction of where they want to go, but you've got to create this crater of a difference in a barrier. They just know in their core that they can't do it on their own. And then they start seeking a solution, and they're looking for proof. This goes back to Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers. They have a desire, and they're looking for a bridge to get to that desire, and they're looking for proof. That's your testimonials, that's your case studies, that's your examples of what you've been able to do for people. Yep. And it has to be greater than the amount of time to get there and the effort and sacrifice to make it happen. So like where we learned this, Al, this, the whole story with us and Michael, is that we were coaching Michael to build his business. It took us 6 years to get $1 million in revenue. We got Mike there in 3. So we collapsed 3 years of time following our map, our path, our bridge, to get him from where he was to where he wanted to go in less time, less effort, and less sacrifice. It was a great value. It was a great offer. And that's what you're looking for, guys, is that you got to move them emotionally more than anything.
Love it. Awesome, man. Well, yeah, it was great seeing everybody here again. I would encourage a couple last minute things. One of the things that I'm focused on for 2024, as far as I don't really do New Year's resolutions, I just try to be consistent with the same things I want to do all year long. But the one thing that I do want to dig deeper in this specific year, because I've honestly gotten away from it. I used to know every new thing that came out that EXP was launching, every new program, like down to, from whether it be lead generation or a new coaching thing they're doing or whatever. And we've been just so busy getting funnels set up and with our own recruiting efforts that, I dipped into an alpha meeting last Thursday and noticed there was a couple things they mentioned that I didn't even know about. So I'm committing to going multiple levels deeper with the EXP value proposition and making sure that I know what I know. And, I know what I don't know right now so that I can have better and more intelligent conversations. Because if you're in the if agent attraction is a goal of yours, you better know what you're selling. I mean, who doesn't want to know their product inside, outside, and backwards? I don't care if you're selling roofing, if you're selling windows, cars, homes, whatever it is. If you're selling EXP as a value proposition, especially in the advent of all the new competition and copycats that are coming out. Look, call them what you will. I do believe that we have the best model, but you can't articulate that unless you really, really know our entire offering and know, when there's a question asked about, well, do you have something for this or do you have something for that? Obviously, we want you getting us on three-way calls. You know how to get us on there. Use our calendar link. I just already I sent it up there, I think in one of the comments. But know what you're selling. Know the EXP value proposition. Glenn's number one priority every single year never changes. It's to increase the value proposition to the agent and iterate on it is what as he kind of puts it. So I just want to make sure I know what I know. I'm going deeper into that. I will tell you my second, and this is more on a personal level, but I will tell you that I think that this holds. Someone just wrote, that's what holds me back from talking more about the EXP model. Then get in there and learn it. You could probably dip in for a good day or two and know everything that you need to know, but you need to commit the time to doing it. And the second thing for me personally is that I've been investing a lot in multifamily apartment buildings, more as a limited partner. And I started dipping my toe into a project that I eventually actually backed away from because it wasn't a good deal. But I'm really digging deep into the underwriting of, multifamily apartments, not like necessarily like 2 to 4 units, but more like 50, 100 or plus unit apartment buildings. And so for me, that's just me personally, because I'm not looking for, just what can I do this year, but I'm looking for the next 10 years. What does the next 10 years look like for me? Well, of course I want to grow my current business, but I also want to increase my, my wealth through real estate acquisitions. And I need to learn it. I need to go deep into it. So I'm going to probably, go to at least one live event that just talks about that. I'm scheduling it right now. So just want to share with everybody, really, what is it for you and how deep are you going to go into it in 2024?
Yeah.
We're here for you. So
find that, brother. I mean, I love it. And, it's the 5-6 books that you want to consume around that. It's the, like you said, the live event, the training, the who do I need to be mentoring with? Who do I need to be coaching with? Right. Like those are all the questions to ask to go deep on a specific skill set that you're wanting to develop and acquire. And it's the capabilities, man. How do I increase my capabilities around learning more about EXP? How do I increase my capabilities more about, investing in multifamily, bigger projects and complexes and, projects in that area. And then it's like, okay, what do I need to be reading? What do I need to be consuming? What podcast do I need to be listening to? What media outlets, what things do I need to consume? What events do I need to get to? Who do I need to mentor with? Who do I need to conversate with? And that's the right way to think about developing the capability to where it becomes the strength of yours.
Agreed, man.
So good.
Awesome.
Brother, appreciate you. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, John Kitchen. Hey, how we have you have some spots left in your next kitchen table? Is there
I do. We do.
To, sign up on that?
Yeah. So if you guys are interested, so kitchen table, our 14th kitchen table is coming up in March. March, I think 25th and 26th. We're back at the Renaissance in Pittsburgh. It's fantastic. It looks out across the river right into PNC Park. It's awesome. It's really an awesome setting. I know you were able to come there when we were there last September.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought you nailed the location.
Jay came and joined us in Frisco in December. But so we've got KT. It's something we do every quarter, strategic workshop. So you are going to be doing some work, and we're going to change the agenda more so to day 2, to where we really bring the hot seat mastermind format back. Yeah, I mean, we've got about, I would say we can fit probably about 10 more. This is the earliest that we've been as full as we've been for any KT. So you can go to seat at the kitchen table, seat@thekitchentable.com, and get all the information. If you want to know more, hit me up. You talk about the caliber of agents that have been to the previous 13 kitchen tables is pretty awesome and spectacular. And I've been really fortunate enough to get Joel Perso in the room as kind of a staple for us, which has been fantastic. Obviously it's kind of close to you, so hopefully get you back in the room with us in March.
Yeah.
We're obviously in Matt and DJ's backyard, so obviously they're there really pushing along a lot of what they're doing with their team, being able to build, and then obviously Leanne's market. So what she's doing to crank out there as a solo agent. So there's tons of great perspectives and insights. Doesn't matter if you're, a mega team or if you're just a solo agent rock star. KT is principle driven. It works for anybody that's committed to growing themselves and committed to growing their business.
Love it, man. All right, everybody.
All good.
Appreciate y'all joining us. See you at the top.
Or from it. See you, bro.